Love. Love is an emotion that is tethered to every emotion. It's actually one of the only emotions that crosses over the way it does. As a person who has had an array of emotions, creating a tirade from within for years, I can tell you from personal experience that at one point or another, I have loved. Whether it was my love for my mother, my love for my siblings, love for my wife, love for my children. It isn't the only kind of love though. Love can be negative. There's been times in my life where I have loved to be angry, loved to hate, loved being vengeful, and above all, loved being in the darkness where I've always felt I belonged. The Haunting of Hill House resonates with me on a deep, personal level in so many ways. The show is like a manifestation of our inner demons, our fear, our shame, and our regrets are all in some way, shape, or form a ghost of our past that persists and pesters our future. First of all, let me preface this with the fact that I loved this show. The Haunting of Hill House had all the ingredients of a traditional horror movie. In fact, there were a lot of tropes that the show stays true to, from jump scares to musical cues that let you know something is about to happen. For the most part, I've hated these cues for the last decade or so because it has hindered current horror movies from standing out and making themselves known. In a sea of horror movies that have come out in the last generation or so, you wouldn't be able to pick a particular standout. One that takes all the tropes and generates actual thought and drudges up actual emotions. Whether they be positive or negative emotions is entirely up to the viewer. The Haunting of Hill House, I'm happy to say, is that standout. From the start, I was pleasantly surprised at just how well written, well shot, and well acted this show is. Now, in order to review this spoiler-free, I don't want to get too into the story, so I'll give you a general synopsis so that you at least know what's going on. So here goes. The Haunting of Hill House is a Netflix original series based on Shirley Jackson's novel that follows siblings who, as children, grew up in what would go on to become the most famous haunted house in history. Now adults, they're forced back together in the face of tragedy and must finally confront the ghosts of their past. Now, I haven't read the novel, but this show makes me want to pick it up. From the first episode, the show is fully engaging and needs you to pay attention. And what I mean by that is that there are so many details given to you from the start. Whether the information given to you is visual or contextual, though, is the main reason why you need to pay attention. The Haunting of Hill House treats its viewers with respect and doesn't hold your hand, and that's consistent all the way through the show. The Crane family make you care for them, in particular for the kids. I am not a fan of kid actors, mainly because it's rare that you run into any good kid actors. Apparently, Disney owns all the good ones and forces them to have babies so they can mold those babies into good actors later down the line. Trust me, it's in the contract. Just kidding. Anyways, the child actors in this did really well. No one overdid it, and there wasn't anyone that was trying to stand out in particular, but they all did what they needed to, which is to make us connect with them. They each have a defining characteristic that stays with them until adulthood, allowing us to make connections we need to. The family isn't perfect, they have their disputes, and sibling rivalry is always a thing in a home full of kids, and this show embraces that. The show displays the family dynamic that is so realistic that you can't help but fall in love with the whole family. From the way the Crane parents show each other love, to how they treat their kids, and how the kids treat one another. It emphasizes and embodies the word family. Now to the horror aspect of the show. I've heard this described by some as one of the scariest things they've ever seen in their lives. And after watching it, I could see how some would think that, mainly because the show deals with real subject matters such as suicide and does it with respect. There's no gore in this series, nothing that really makes you go, ugh, disgusting, which is refreshing. What this show lacks in blood, it makes up for with dread, fear, and loss. The Haunting of Hill House is real adept at scaring you to your core by using your actual fears against you. How the writers achieved this was by taking many real-world problems, from being emotionally closed off to drug abuse addiction, and adding a supernatural twist to those fears. As the show progresses, it plays with the type of subject matter to benefit the narrative, which is a breath of fresh air in more ways than one, because you don't see this type of writing in horror movies or shows. The only show I can think of that even came close was a now canceled Exorcist that was on Fox for 2 seasons. I was really sad to see that show go. While the child actors had no standouts that I can recall, Carla Gugino freaking kills it in her role as Olivia Crane, or Liv as her husband calls her on the show. She displays a range of emotions that I didn't think was possible to catch on screen without having some serious AAA actors or actresses behind it. Carla Gugino has been in a lot of things I have seen, but she does her best work in The Haunting of Hill House. Henry Thomas of E.T. fame really shines as Hugh Crane and lets us know that he's still got it. Kate Siegel, who played Theo, was fantastic in her role. She really let her acting chops shine as she gave off a real deep sense of fear, loss, and disconnection to the rest of the family as an adult, but a cling to hope as she lives in her sister's guest house and works as a child psychologist. The camera work and lighting of The Haunting of Hill House was especially impressive. The lighting let us know whether we were in a flashback or present day, and at some point they blend the two lighting styles to let us know that the line has been blurred. The shots are all framed in a beautiful and thought out way. Some shots make you feel uncomfortable while others set you up for a jump scare, but all is done in an artistic and stylistic way. There are several shots on the show that stand out, and I can't wait to hear about those when you watch them. The Haunting of Hill House gets a 10 out of 10 from me. While it didn't really scare me in every essence of the word, and honestly I don't think I'll ever be scared again like I was when I first saw Nightmare on Elm Street, mainly because I'm not a 6-year-old boy watching an inappropriate movie, but it did scare me in a deeper, more meaningful way. And the message that the show offers towards the end is both beautiful and sad. What did you guys think of The Haunting of Hill House? Did you enjoy it? What were your favorite moments? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching Rock Reviews.